First Chronicles 20 verse 32, reading from the King James Version. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do. Many people do things in ministry, but only few people are able to get things done. So you can do things without getting things done. Are you here? You can do things without getting things done. So there are many people who have been in ministry for so many years, and now they are looking at all the many things they have done, and yet they have achieved nothing. So they are wondering, what happened to us? We have done so many things, but we have done nothing. Are you here? Because, you see, the children of Issachar had understanding of the times and knew what Israel should do. Because whatever you can do that will result in a certain achievement is always linked to a certain time. It's the fact that a farmer has a seed and has land does not mean that he should just walk to the land and start planting. The farmer may have a seed, but he must wait for the farming season. Are you here? You must wait for the farming season, or else you waste your seed. Are you here? Reverend Steve and his colleagues, the fathers, started with a lot of people. Today, you guys can stand and look at what God has used you to do. You have gotten things done. And you got things done because you had understanding of the times and seasons. Are you here? The fact that you are pregnant does not mean that you can choose when you should give birth. There's a season for pregnancy. Even dogs, they don't waste their time mating if it's not a mating season. Are you here? So you can take your female dog and bring to another male dog to cross it. The male dog will not waste his time crossing the female dog that is all on heat. Are you here? So you see, God has structured everything in his own seasons. Ministry, business, whatever you do, marriage, whatever you do, are structured into 8 seasons. And I want to just share one of the 8 seasons with you. And the reason why I'm sharing one, so that Reverend Steve will invite me 7 more times. So that every time I come, I share one season. Are you here with me? Hey, I'm excited to be here. Genesis 8 verse 22. As long as the earth endures, seed time, your first season, harvest, your second season, cold, your third season, and heat, your fourth season, summer, 5th season, and winter, 6th season, day, 7th season, and night, 8th season will never cease. Are you here? Hey, hey, my chairman. Are you here with me? So there are 8 seasons. So what it means is that from this scripture, we can actually do an 8-month Sunday series. Hey, 8-month Sunday series. Are you here? So here are the seasons. Your seed time season, your harvest time season, your cold time season, the heat season, the summer season. I call the summer season your sunrise season. The winter season, the season of isolation. The day, the season of a second chance. At night, the season of accountability. The seed time season is a season of sowing. The harvest time season is a season where you count the fruit of your labor. The cold season is a season where most people backslide, where your love can wax cold. And I'm not surprised that it comes immediately after the harvest, because when we become successful and we can count the fruit of our labor, we try to substitute success with spirituality. From there, you have to move fast into your heat season, the season of revival. And once you hit the season of revival, you can trust God that the next season will be your sunrise season. Then sometimes in the midst of your success, you need to have isolation. When we have time, we will look at fruitful isolations and dangerous isolations. Your daytime is where God gives you a second chance to correct all the mistakes. Then finally, the nighttime is where now you count your losses, you compare your achievements with your performance, and you begin to regret. But today, I want to just speak on the first season. But before we do that, now your seasons will either be going round in circles or will be going in spiral. So you can see the drawing there. You begin with your seed time, you move into your harvest time, and then you go into your cold time, you move back into your heat, you move into your summer, you come to your winter, day and night. But you see, you come back to seed time at the same place. When you see your seasons are going round in circles, you are in the same place, it means there's something wrong. Are you here? If you don't visit Reverend Steve for 6 months, when you go back to his place, you will see something has shifted. There'll be a new thing going on. Bishop Dag the same. Archbishop the same. Almost every 6 months, there are significant shifts in the life of these men. And it's a shift forward, not backwards. So for them, their seasons don't go round in circles. That's why I enjoy serving them. Their seasons don't go round in circles. Are you here? They are going round in what I call spiral seasons. So you see, they began from the middle, seed time, moved to harvest. By the time they got to harvest, they were already expanded. They moved on to cold season, they have expanded. Even in backsliding, they will still be big. And then heat season, summer. So you can see that it's different from the circle. In the circle, you are in one place. You are at the same place in circle. But in spiral, you are going up. So by the time you come back to seed time again, you are this time doing it bigger. You always come back to seed time. So that even in the midst of your harvest, you are still sowing. So you come back to your seed time all the time. But if you get back to your seed time and you are at where you used to be, then there's something wrong with you. If you sowed 10 seeds from the beginning of your ministry, and after 8 years, you still have 10 seeds to sow again, there's something wrong. So reverends have been doing this rural missions for a long time. But you can tell that the way you started is not the same. Now you are sowing bigger and bigger and bigger. You are doing it bigger and bigger and bigger. Because you are not moving. Your season is not in circles. Your season is in spiral. I pray for someone here that after today's service, that circle will break and you will move into a spiral growth. Amen. If I'm speaking to you, let me hear your loudest amen. So let me begin by looking at the mystery of the seed time. So what is a seed time season in ministry? A seed time season in ministry is a period in ministry where you pay the price for the price of your ministry. Are you here? Where you pay the price for the price of your ministry. Ministry is like a shopping mall. If you go to Kumasi Mall right now, you will find 3 groups of people. You will find thieves, you will find window shoppers, and then you will find real shoppers. So 3 groups of people, in every mall. Number one, you will find thieves. You will find window shoppers, and you will find real shoppers. It's also like that in ministry. In ministry, there are three groups of people. It's like a mall. There are three groups of pastors: the thieves, the thieves, the window shoppers, and the real shoppers. The thieves are people in ministry who have paid no price but want to enjoy other people's prize. They want to harvest where they have not sown. I'm telling you, if we're a pastor here, at the end of the month you collect salary from the work for work you have not done, you are a thief. Are you here? And there are a lot of thieves in ministry. I'm telling you. Maybe tomorrow I will talk about the 5 characteristics of the lazy pastor. Oh, a lot of lazy young men are entering into ministry, because to get into banking you must have a degree. You must show a skill. To get into marketing you must show a skill. But to get to ministry you must speak in tongues and have a zeal. So it is easier to become a pastor than to become a banker. So we have a lot of young guys, when they have no skill to offer the world, they tend to pastoring. Are you here? A lot of them in church. No. When I was on the Sprinters Road and I was living in an uncompleted building, and the church was in an uncompleted school building, I didn't get people having dreams, God telling them to come and work for me. Immediately I emerged. Almost every week I get 2 young people who would travel from beyond Accra and come and tell me that they had a dream, that they were working for me, so they have come. I said, if you had this dream 20 years ago, I would have believed you. But for now, I don't believe these dreams. Are you here? I repeat, there are hundreds of young men in ministry today who are earning money they did not work for. They are thieves. And when you even pay them for the money they didn't work for, they don't even pay tithe. So they have graduated from being petty thieves to armed robbers, robbing God of his money. Are you here? It's only in ministry that most pastors don't have offices where they go and work. So they show up on Sunday morning and lead opening prayer like a prayer warrior. Which prayer warriors can lead. You don't see them again. Then they arrive in your midweek teaching service. And even the day you will give them the opportunity to teach, they teach like Sunday school teachers. No revelation. Nothing. And then if there's an all-night, Friday all-night, or there's a service, they show up. They just show up. And then at the end of the month, they are paid for coming to church. These are thieves. And they know what they are doing. Are you here? In most churches, 90.9% of the people worshiping in those churches came in as a result of the senior pastor's ministry. And the rest as a result of members inviting other people. Scarcely will you see that a young pastor in a certain church has a soul in that church. And yet they want the pulpit. So your senior pastor gathers and then you come and preach. You are a thief. Are you here? You are a thief. You will have teachers who will go and teach for 30 years every day before they can build a house or buy a plot of land. These pastoral thieves, 1 year in a big church, they want a car. 1 year in a big church, they want a car. Are you here? And they want a big life. They want to live. I mean, if you're a pastor, you are taking 1,500 a month, and you go and rent a house that is costing you 700 a month. You are using 50% of your income to pay for your accommodation. You get it? You have finished your life, and then so if you are taking 1,500 a month in 3 months, which is one term of a school calendar, that is 4,500, and your 2 children's school fees one term is 9,000. You get it? Twice your salary. But Reverend Steve and his wife, Reverend Steve, will tell you that when their churches were small, they cut their cloth according to their sizes. Are you here? But you see, there are a lot of pastoral thieves that want to have a lifestyle based on the personal wealth of their senior pastors. Oh, I've seen young pastors who will go and gossip that my senior pastor has 5 cars and we don't have cars and we have been walking. But let me tell you something. No pastor can buy a car or build a house or educate their children abroad based on church salary. It is your ministry. Your ministry. The influence you have on individual members of the church. Are you here? When I worked under my spiritual father, the reason why our church started home cells was because I was praying with 3 families. Minus Wednesday evening where we have teaching service, and Friday evening where we have prayer meeting. Monday evening, there was a family I was praying with, and the community started coming. Tuesday evening, I prayed with the family. Then Thursday evening, I prayed with the family. Then my senior pastor heard that this has started. See, then let's start home cells. I've always made sure that I will never earn salary I have not worked for. Especially when it comes to God, because God will take his thing back and charge you interest for stealing his money. Are you here? Pastors, remember, ministry is like a mall. There are thieves, there are window shoppers, and there are real shoppers. Are you here? Now, the window shoppers, they are even more dangerous than the thieves. Because these are people who will soon suffer from disappointed expectations and start blaming their senior pastor for the misery of their lives. There are a lot of young pastors who think that their senior pastors wasted their time. Because they didn't waste your time. If I go to Kumasi Mall and I spend the whole day looking at things I can't afford. Now, window shoppers go. Recently, I was in your country, London, and there was a release of a new thing by Apple. So I went to the Strand area to go and get. When I got there, there were a lot of people. A lot of people. So I said, oh, this one will stay here for too long a time. Then one of the customer service guys spotted me and said, oh, do I need something? I said, oh yeah, I want to buy something, but the queue here, I can't say, oh no. These people are here to view. We were all in the same shop, looking at the same thing, but there was a price tag. You should be able to afford that price. You should be willing to pay that price to carry that thing. And I am sure that just about 10% of us there were willing to pay the price. The rest were window shoppers. They are dressed up, nicely dressed up. Took a train like I took. Came there just to look at things and go back. There are a lot of young pastors who are window shoppers. They see the way God is using Dr. Otabel on TV. Then they say, God, make me like this man. You see, they admire the man, but they are not ready to pay the price that the man paid to become who he has become. Young boys go to the mosque, they see Samsung curved TV. Say, wow, this TV, eh? This TV, you go feed do and this. They know everything about the TV. But on the TV, you see two tags. One is do not touch. The other is a price tag. No matter how you admire it, you cannot touch it. Are you here? You cannot touch it. But if you pay the price, you don't only touch, you carry it away. The fact that you love it and admire it and celebrate it does not mean you can have it. The fact that you celebrate Reverend Steve or Bishop Ajinasari or Archbishop, the fact that when you see them on TV, you cry, the fact that when they are preaching, you fall down, does not mean you can become like them. For an Elisha to receive the oil of an Elijah, you have to travel the road with him.
Travel the road.
You have to. You have to pass the same place to get there. Are you here? To get there, you have to pass through the same place, or else you will never get there. This generation is a generation of window shoppers. I'm telling you. Generation of window shoppers. They admire every great man of God. They admire every great man of God. Sometimes you don't even know them. They come to your office and leave a tithe. But your tithe to us will not make you us. What will make you us is to pay the price we paid. Yeah. Are you here? I have my biological son, and sometimes my wife thinks I'm too strong. And I said, this boy grew up in a house with 4 walls. If I don't push him outside there, he cannot become better than me. He completed university, came down and said, Daddy, I finished school. I want a Jaguar for my celebration. I said, son, if a 22-year-old boy or 23-year-old boy gets a first degree, it's not a celebration. If you are getting PhD at 25, I will celebrate. You have gone ahead of your time. But it's a normal one. You want a Jaguar, I'll give you a job. Get your mother's old car, then I'll give you a job. I start paying you. Save enough, get some money, go and deposit it, and I'll help you pay installments. So, Daddy, but you see, I could buy him the Jaguar, but he will not become like me. Are you here? Yeah. Walk the rope. Yeah. Recently, I'm doing some, on top of the towers I'm doing some penthouses there, 2 bedrooms each. So there are 4. So he comes to me and said, Daddy, so it's for all of us, your 4 children. So I'll stay here. I say no problems. One, because you're my son, I'll give it to you for $100,000, and then I'll give you 30 years to pay. So every month you work in your mother's company, I'll take some small money. I'll take them in dollars, small. By 30 years, you would have finished paying. So goes the mother and said, Mommy, look, Daddy is building houses and he wants me to pay for it. So the mother comes to me and said, honey, but what are you doing? Why should your son pay for this thing? I said, I will eventually even give him all the money he has paid, but he must learn these things. Now, I'm telling you, the reason why most pastors' children don't become greater than them is because we do not allow them to go through the pathways that we went through. Are you here? Do you understand? Now listen. Education is good, but experience is better. So whilst we will educate them, sit them down, and teach them the rudiments of the gospel, we must also get them out there to do what we went through. They will become better than us. If I'm starting a journey at Gilgal, you can't go and wait for me at Jordan. You must come and start with me at Gilgal, where the circumcision of the heart will take place. Are you here? At Gilgal. Listen. The pathway to greatness is through followership. And when you are following, follow where? Don't follow our monies. Don't follow our success. Don't follow. Don't let people say, hey, these guys, they are big guys in the church. They are the people who follow Reverend Steve. It is easier to follow with your personality, with something, without following with the heart. Are you here? So don't be a window shopper. Because if you become a window shopper, you admire every minister, but you can never become like them. Are you here? The third one are the real shoppers, and they're the ones we are going to discuss now. Real people who are willing and ready to pay the price. To pay the price. So your seed time season is the period where you pay the price. So I am talking to the ministers who are ready to pay the price. Are you here? Not every one of you will love this, because we are in a generation where people are not willing to pay the price. Are you here? But these things I'm going to share with you, if you take them, you practice them, a year by this time, you'll be thanking us. Are you here? Yeah. So what is a seed time season in ministry? A seed time season in ministry is a period in ministry where you pay the price. It's a period in ministry. So what is the price? Now what is the price? Let's go to what is the price. I say you must pay the price. So what is the price? Ministry is like farming. The price you pay is the seed you sow that determines your harvest. The seed you sow that determines your harvest. If you go to CEM in Accra, and what Reverend Steve and his brother are doing, amazing work. But it's a harvest of a seed. It didn't just pop up. One time a friend of mine was told, hey Charlie, go and see what TITI-OFEI is doing. Do you know what he said? He said, oh, what he's doing because he has money. If you all have money, we'll do it. We all do the same thing, we all have money. But the thing is that none of us got into ministry with money. So if we don't have the anointing to create the money, you cannot have the anointing to build what we are building. Are you here? Do you understand? So to think that somebody has money, it's not like we have some uncles who willed lands and buildings for us. Nothing. But when you sow a seed, a good seed, you will harvest. Are you here? Now, I'm afraid for a lot of young ministers. I'm afraid for the future of the charismatic church. I'm truly afraid for the future of the Pentecostal and charismatic movement. Because what we are teaching young pastors is a dangerous precedent. You see what Reverend Steve taught? Prayer. But you can go to pastors' conferences where they are telling them, your car is coming, your congregation is coming. Hey, if we came like that, during when we were growing up, T.L. Osborne and all these guys were coming here. They were more anointed than the people telling this generation, your car is coming. We would have gotten it on a silver platter. It does not come that way. Because those telling you your car is coming, they know what they went through before they got yes. Now, if we pick Reverend Steve alone, the distance he had covered working in ministry, you can go around the globe. Are you here? God is not going to change the formula because you are in ministry. Are you here? Jesus didn't just become who he became. He has to go through the rudiments of ministry. The rudiments of ministry. He wasn't born today and tomorrow he was a big man. To even teach us a lesson, he went to carry fishermen and things. Let's go and preach. These guys were working with this man 3.5 years. Trained them, took them through process. Are you here? Out of every one Reverend Steve Mensah, there are thousands of pastors in Namakom, LA Local Authority Primary School. And their churches are there. They've been there for 15 years. They have 15 people. I'm telling you. So if you are deceived by these men, you sit down, you look at them and say, wow, Charlie, in ministry, yeah, we can prosper. Look at them. Look at the cars they came in with. Look at the things they are doing. Have you been to Reverend Steve's church? The things he has built there. Please, don't look at these men. Because out of every one Reverend Steve Mensah, there are thousands who are laboring in classrooms for 15 years, 20 years. There are men of God whose wives have to divorce them because they were dying out of poverty and go and do something else. Men of God whose children don't even go to church. When they saw the pain church took them through. Are you here? So don't sit on TV and assume that this work called ministry is very easy to do. My university just got accredited 10 years ago. And I've been in ministry since I was 22. Been in ministry for almost 30 years. Almost 30 years. And what I have been able to achieve running a university, it doesn't come near where the ministry, my achievement in ministry doesn't come anywhere near it. So I called some people and I said, I'm doing ministry and I'm doing business. I have done the comparative analysis. If ministry were a business, it would be a bad business. Every businessman will tell. That's why people like you, businessmen who are genuine, will support you. Because they would sit down and say that to build a business, the way you struggle to get results, if these guys are getting these results, then they are doing something well. Are you here? So the key thing here is a seed. So what is the seed? Which is the price you pay. What is a seed? Which is the price you pay. A seed is any sacrifice that you make that determine your success in ministry. Any sacrifice you make that determines your success in ministry. I tell our church members continuously, if your Christian life is very convenient for you, then you are not yet a Christian. If pastoring is very convenient for you, then you are not yet a pastor. Because the sacrifice you must make, that seed, that thing called a seed, is the sacrifice you must make. In the 90s, I left Ghana, very poor man, as the youth pastor of a church that was also a very poor church. Then I went to Germany to study. Then after my studies in Germany, I got another scholarship to go to Sweden to continue. And then there was this Eachas Christian Center. Roger Foster, I don't know whether you know Roger Foster. Roger Foster's Eachas Christian Center. Roger Foster had come to teach in my school. And I used to read Roger Foster's Radio Bible School. He used to have these small pump books that I used to read. So when I saw the man whose books I've been reading coming to lecture me, we just bonded. Then Roger Foster sent me a letter that after school I should come and work with him. I was granted a visa to go to the UK, to go and work with Eastern Christian Center. Then I had a scholarship to go to Sweden as well. I was telling a fellow Ghanaian, God has blessed me. Look at all these things God has given me. Now I'm sport for choice. And I was a very poor pastor, so I was very happy. Then one day I was praying. Then God comes to me and God says to me, everything I created have their own places of abundance. The fish will multiply in the sea, and the tree will bear fruit on land. He said, your place of abundance is not Europe. I did not create you to be here. Go back to Ghana. I said, Lord, if you did not create me to be here, why did you give me scholarship to Sweden and a job in England? He said to me, you always have to make a choice between me and something else. Are you here? You have to make a choice between me and something else. It would have been very easy for you to obey me if I had come to you and your visa is expiring and you have no opportunity and I said to you, go to Africa. You would have gone easily. But now you have a scholarship with stipends, then you have a job waiting for you. And I said, go back to Ghana. I came to Ghana to live in an uncompleted building. No water, no electricity, no toilet facilities. With a pregnant wife. And sometimes the middle of the night, I will pray. Because you pray, you fast, you go to church, 2 people. Hey, God, did I hear well? Then I'll take my passport, look at the visas. Should I go? Or should I remain? I said, everything has their place of abundance. This is my place of abundance. Let me be here. You always have to plant a certain seed. You must have a certain period in your life where you made a decision that people thought you were crazy.
Yes. Yes.
Are you here?
Yes.
That people thought that is the end of your life. If you haven't made that decision, you haven't come to that place of making that painful choice that will cost you friends, you are not yet started a ministry. You are nowhere yet. You are nowhere yet. You are nowhere yet in ministry. You want to finish Bible school? Then Reverend Steve invites you. Come and be the youth pastor of the headquarters church. And then from Bible school straight to CEM. The youth pastor of CEM. Very nice church, noble church. It's not good for a youth pastor to be working. Let's give him some small car. Then you have a car. Oh, let's give him some accommodation. Then you get accommodation. Then you are happy. God has blessed me. God has blessed me. When Hagar was giving Abraham's bread and water, he didn't know that it would get finished in the wilderness. Papa, it is not what we give these young men that will make them successful in ministry. Dr. Tabel said that God is a spirit, but he created physical things. The evidence of your spirituality is what you are able to make happen physically. If you come to my church and you are following the physical things I've already created, you are not spiritual enough. So you are there, youth pastor. Reverend Steve has already created the youth in the church. Then youth service, that's where you show your anointing. The anointing you are showing there is not your anointing. No. Reverend Steve has already created an ambience, an environment. Oh, you are building on the foundation a father has laid already. If you are truly called, when you are asked to go to a place where there is no electricity and water, and you are set to go, then we can trust you. Oh, yeah. Then we can trust you. When I finished Bible school, I was made a youth pastor in my spiritual father's church. It was me, after 2 years, who went to beg him, I want to go to a branch. Give me a branch. He said, where? I said, Teshi. Hard grounds. The 2 years I spent in Teshi actually shaped my philosophy in ministry. Shaped my philosophy in ministry. I was doing youth service once a month. Whether I like it or not, I will be paid. But that was not enough to shape me and prepare me for ministry. So now let me show you something. Now the quantity of your harvest in ministry is determined by how, where, and when you sowed your seeds. And I want to quickly run this with you. How people sow their seeds. 5 types of pastors in seed time. The 5 types of pastors in seed time. In your seed time, where you are supposed to sow your seeds. These are the 5 types of pastors you will find there. Number 1, those who sow sparingly. Sparingly. You never ever give yourself 100% for any work you are giving. Go for follow-up. You go for 1, 2, you stop. You are tired already. You never kill yourself for any assignment you have been given. You are sowing sparingly. And when you sow sparingly in your harvest time, you will harvest sparingly. You think that is somebody's church. What are we even doing here? Reverend Steve's church. When we build, we build, we build. It's he and his wife and his family who will take it. That's why the children of the world are wiser than us. Because when somebody is an apprentice, he doesn't ask for salary. He's asking for knowledge. And that apprentice is not looking at how much the boss is earning from the construction of the building. He is happy that the boss got a complex building to build, and he was available when that building was being built and understood how to build that building. What you did not do working under me, you cannot do it working on your own. Because eventually, if you are sowing sparingly, it will become a habit, and you can't change habit overnight. One young man was pastoring a branch of our church. I started that branch. I handed him over to him because he has served me for some time. I gave him 70-something people. 2 years' time, they were left with 15 people. So I told him, come back to the headquarters. Because then he resigned and took the branch. Then some people saw him preaching in buses and in lorry stations. They say, hey, your son is experiencing a revival. Come and see how he's preaching. I said, no, this is a 9-day wonder. He did not preach in buses and at the bus stops when he was under me. He cannot do it on his own. And less than 6 months, the church collapsed. Today, he's pastoring where 2 or 3 people are gathered. I'm telling you. Are you here? When you get the opportunity to serve in any church, during your seat time, go beyond your job description. I was employed in one church as an administrative pastor. I realized the men's fellowship was dying because there was no men's pastor. I became a men's pastor. The youth, I became a youth pastor. It was not part of my job description. But I decided that if I sow sparingly, I will reap sparingly. One time, my wife and I bought some properties. And we got the properties so easily and so cheap. And when we were driving, I was driving some people to go and show them the properties. Then we drove past an area and I saw a building where I went on a retreat there. I spent 7 days, not less than 10 hours a day of prayer. Over 70 hours of prayer in 7 days. Then when we were passing, the Lord just showed me the place. He said, do you remember when you came to pray here? I said, yes, Lord. He said, that those 70 hours of prayer you prayed here, that is the results. He said, those properties you are going to, that is the results. There are things God does for me that I realize I don't deserve it. And God will remind me of a seed, a sacrifice I made in some church. He say, you are not harvesting it. You are not harvesting it. In 97, I preached in a church in London, and the members had just discovered that their pastor was a homosexual. So when I went in and I preached there, God was working and things were happening. They came to see me privately. I was a poor boy. Came to see me and said, this is the situation in our church. So we are all leaving the church. Some of us came because we heard that a preacher was coming. Then the house where we met him, they showed me one room. Said, this will be your room. We want you to stay. And we'll start a new church next week. All of us will come. We are getting a place. We'll start a new church next week. I was to leave the next day. They were convincing me not to go. In the middle of the night, the Lord came to me and said to me, if you take another man's church, you will never have a church for yourself. I called them. I said, I can't make it. All the offerings they promised me, they didn't come. I left miserably. Then, about 5 years ago, I was in London, and one young man came to see me and said, oh, we have a Bible school, but we want to convert it into a church. And we heard you have come to London. Can we submit it under your ministry? I said, why not? I prayed for that young man. Today, last time I was in London, we went to open our Oxford church. And this December, I'll be there to open our Stratford church. And this young man, I have not put £1 into the church in London. And the Lord reminded me, when you did not take that man's church, I reserved this church for you. Are you here? In your season of sowing, it's a very difficult season. let me quickly run through this so that I can show you other things. Now, the second type of pastor in the season of sowing is those who sow bountifully. Those who sow bountifully. They work beyond. They work beyond. Are you here with me? There is a footballer in Chelsea, he's called Kante. The reason why Kante is successful is his work rate. His work rate. When you put Kante in a team, the guy works more than everybody on the field. If you want to succeed, let me tell you this, if you want to succeed in ministry, drawing in your seed time, when you are given opportunity, go beyond it. Go beyond the expectations of your senior pastors. So, are you here? Give beyond what is expected of you. Let your senior pastor look at you and be satisfied. Are you here? There's nothing I won't do for my wife. There's nothing. Because during our seed time in our marriage, this woman really sowed and sowed beyond. He was doing some work. His weekend bonus, her weekend bonus at the time was more than my monthly salary. And all the money was into my ministry. They pay her, she will bring it to me. I said, but this is not how marriage should be. You have gone beyond what I expected of a wife. On our 20th wedding anniversary, the house we live in, I said, can I register it in your name as a way to say thank you? She said, no, I didn't come here for this. She's always gone beyond my expectation. So in our tower, the twin towers we are building, one is a 40-bed facility plus 4 penthouses. So I called her. I said, you know something? I know if I say I'm dashing it to you, you will say no. But I'm setting up a company called the Hammond Hospitality. The Hammond Hospitality is your company, but manage this facility. You are not accountable to me. Anybody who comes in and you rent is not accountable to me. She said, hey, are you sure? I said, take it. Because in our seed time, you sowed abundantly. You sowed bountifully. So I am not doing accounts with you. Because you did not do accounts with me. I'm telling you. There are some junior pastors saying when you want to reward them, you want to reward them beyond measure. Because they give beyond measure. I've been thinking about some things I should do with some of my staff and do for them. So I have categorized some of them as founding staffs. So that when I do those things for them, and these guys can do things. I have some people in my office, 5 o'clock, they'll take their things, they'll walk. There are others, 11 p.m., they are still there. Work has not been completed yet. They must stay and do it. They are sowing bountifully. Any junior pastor who is attending all night service and arrives 10 p.m. when they are just starting, you are sowing sparingly. 1 hour before any service, you must be there. Are you here? Hey, me, I'm the youth pastor. I'm not involved in these things. Oh, me, I'm the women's fellowship pastor. I am not involved in these things. So bountifully. That is where you will reap bountifully. The Archbishop, the Otabels and co, during their season of seed time, they sowed bountifully. The next pastor, the season of this thing, are those who sow gradually. Every work they ask them to do, they will complain. So where is everybody? Why am I the only person doing this? Why am I the only person doing this? You complain when you see your senior pastor, you stop complaining. But in your heart, you are not happy. God will never bless any man who sows gradually in ministry. Are you here? Reverend Steve called me. Happy to be here. Excited to be here. Yeah. Drove this morning at 4. Came here. Tomorrow I'll be here. In the afternoon we are heading to Tamale. From Tamale we come to Sunyani. Maybe we hit Accra. We are going to Lome, Togo. And I'm doing this with happiness. Not bearing any grudge, not grumbling. When my wife and I were suffering, this woman can have her hair. Her hair was falling. When we started our church on the Sprinters Road, for the first 6 months, we had no place to sleep. We were moving from one friend's. Every night, we had a new place to sleep. She couldn't even go to the salon. Her hair was just falling. And there was never a single time where she complained. Never a single time where she complained. I call her the first woman God created after Eve. After her, God created Reverend Steve Mercer's wife. And then Reverend Stanley's wife came. Are you here with me? Do you understand? So even we men, when we see women we are married to sowing without grudge, we want to reward them. Coming here, she shall be up since 1 a.m. praying for me to come here. Since 1 a.m. praying for me. Last time I called her, I said, you know, in our Christian life, sometimes your zeal comes down, sometimes your zeal goes up. But you, for 27 years, have never seen your zeal come down. What is wrong with you? Are you a normal Christian? Are you here? So please, listen. This work we do, you don't grumble. You don't complain. Do it. Do it as unto the Lord. Do it. It doesn't, listen. Some young pastors feel that their fathers, spiritual fathers, have done something against them, and so they are also angry. I keep saying to young people that, listen, it does not take a good father to raise a good son. If you are good, you are good. Because I've seen an armed robber whose son is a pastor, and I've seen a pastor whose son is an armed robber. I have seen a drug addict whose son is a pastor, and I've seen a pastor whose son is a drug addict. If you are good, you are good. If you are good, you are good. Go to Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Ghana. They are not paid well. Nobody is paid well in this country. So there are nurses who go to work grumbling. But there are other nurses, they can't wait for the day to start so they can go. There are even other nurses who will take their own money and buy drugs because they love what they do. If you are a good dancer, no matter the rhythm, you will dance. I'm telling you, we have danced to different tunes. We have done to different tunes. I have served pastors who hurt me. I have served those who helped me. And I've served those who hurt and helped me. Both helping and hurting made me better. Are you here? Now, who told you it's only help that will make you better? Sometimes you are hurt and the hurt makes you better. If you know where you are going, you don't get bitter, you get better. Are you here? None of us grew up under fathers who were saints. But we have such an understanding that even this wickedness this man is showing me is part of my training. You see, all these men, Reverend Steve was talking about how they ended their lives, how they ended their ministry, how they ended. It's a lesson for all of us. Sometimes God does not only do things in our lives, He does things with our lives. God can allow certain things to happen so He can teach generations. When a lot of young pastors were insulting the Archbishop for his divorce, for me, I said, no, God is doing something with the life of this man, the marriage of this man, to teach all of us something. That divorce is not far away from you as a pastor. Because this man of prayer, if this can happen to him, it can happen to all of us. So I called my wife. We sat down. I said, my dear, you see, even the Archbishop is divorced. Please, it's a road sign. No, why would God let Hosea marry Gomer? Just for a prophetic word. Go and marry a prostitute, and the prostitute will be unfaithful. Forgive your unfaithfulness and call her again. And after he had done all, God said, go and tell my people, that says the Lord. Just one prophecy, you have spoiled my marital life. Some of the scriptures we quote in Pauline's epistles, he wrote them whilst he was in prison. God said, you are too busy. Come, let me put you into prison and write some things. God made him a prisoner so that he can do something with his life. A lot of young pastors, God is doing things in their life. And then when they see the senior pastors, God is doing things with their life, they criticize them. If God has to make a senior pastor fail to teach the next 5 generations how to succeed, how not to fail, God will do it. How not to fail, God will do it. Are you here? One pastor can fail so that God will teach generations after him how not to fail. I put a team of marriage counselors together, and there was one woman who was divorced, and I put her in the team. Then some self-righteous people in church came to me and said, no, Bishop, you can't add a woman who is divorced in our marriage counseling team. I said, yeah. I wanted to go and teach the single ladies how not to get divorced. Are you here? Now, do you know sometimes failure teaches us more than success does? God can let a man of God fail to teach generations. On our wedding anniversary, 25th wedding anniversary, I went to the Archbishop. I said, Papa, I've come to thank you. I've come to thank you. God used your marriage. God has to break your marriage to keep my marriage intact. I said, never regret that this happened to you. Because generations, several generations who are spiritual will learn from this. Are you here? Serve without complaining. And then those who sow out of necessity. There are people in ministry, they have nothing to do, that's why they joined us. Oh, they are in ministry, They are in ministry with us, but they are looking at next opportunity. You know, I always dreamt of becoming a lecturer in the university, but I couldn't go to university, so let me perch here as a pastor. And then the salary I get, I take it to school. You get it? To learn human resource, project management. If my pastor goes to school and does not study theology, he's studying project management and other things, I must get ready that pastor will leave me soon. Because what he's studying is not in line with what we are doing. Do you understand? No, learning is good. But if you are paying for yourself, I don't have a problem. But if I'm paying for you, I must choose what you should do. My head of IT, I gave him scholarship to do MBA at the university. So I asked him, what are you writing on? He was writing on something in human resource. I said, what is the meaning of this? Go and do research on how to use digital marketing to sell educational products. And come and tell me, should I give you, you're my head of digital marketing, and I'll give you an MBA scholarship, and you are researching on human resource. You want to leave me? Are you here? Do you understand? Good. So my time is up. Let me quickly. And then number 5, those who sow cheerfully. Those in ministry who sow cheerfully. Who so cheerfully have been in ministry with different people serving fathers. And I've seen when we finish a meeting, we go somewhere as young pastors to even eat. And I've seen those who are very bitter. And I've seen those who are the cheerleaders of the pastor. Everything they ask them to do in church, they do it happily. No complaints. Especially when you are a junior pastor, you don't do what you want to do. You do what you are told to do. Are you here? There was never a time I was told to do something that I told my senior pastor, it's not my area. Which one is not your area? It is the job available. Retrain yourself and do it. Are you here? Do you know why Michael Essien survived in Chelsea? They used to call him the utility player. Sometimes he was playing the position that somebody is injured. The next time he was playing, the guy could play anywhere. When he was leaving Ghana, he was sold for $350,000. 5 years later, he was sold for 26 million pounds. Why? 5 years. At that time, he had become a utility player. He could play everywhere. He knew where he came from. Liberty Professionals, Dansoman. And then you are getting a chance to go and play Chelsea. Then they tell you that we need you for this position. So I don't play that position. Are you crazy? You say, hey, I will play. They say, can you keep the post? I'm a goalkeeper. Can you play defense? I'm a defender. Can you play midfield? I can play. Why do you think you can play this thing? It's in Kaukudi Junction, on gravels, no position. Everybody plays anywhere. I have learned. One time he was interviewed and he was asked, you can play a whole 90 minutes and you still have the strength as if you are just starting the match. He said, because in Ghana, we play football from morning to evening. We don't close. And reminded me when we were kids, when you're on holidays, you pick football and you leave the house. You come in the night. You are not eating. It's after the football that you feel hungry. Until the sun is gone, you are playing. Sometimes you see, it is the rough places you go through that shapes you and molds you for ministry. And sowing is not easy. My chairman, just 10 more minutes to conclude on this. Sowing time is not easy. Now, where do you sow? So now, I've showed you the 5 types of people that sow. Okay? How we sow during our season of seed time. Now, where do we sow? Where do we sow? Jesus said a parable. So you are all past because of time. I'm running from the scriptures. But in Luke 5, verse 8, from the verse 5, Jesus told us a parable. A farmer went out to sow his seeds. Some fell on the path. Some fell among thorns. Some fell among rocky places. And some fell on good soil. During your season of seed time, where you sow is very important because it determines. So we are done how to sow. Now, where are you sowing? Here are 4 places available. Number 1, along the pathway. Along the pathway. And the seed that fell on the path were trampled upon. You can't be a street boy in your season of sowing. You must be at home. You must have a father over you. Hey, Reverend Steve, when T.L. Osborne and Co. used to come here, organizing large crusades, they used to tell us that I belong to this church. I'm not a pastor, I'm an evangelist. But I sought my pastor's permission to be here. And anytime I was taught on the mission field, I was in church. That bishop told me something. He said, Bishop Dark never leaves the country without telling him. Even when he's in the aircraft, he'll call, Papa, cover me. I'm going here. You get it? I've called Reverend Steve. My chairman, Papa wants a meeting tomorrow. Say, wow, like I'm traveling tomorrow. Okay, I'll change it. I'll be there. I'll call my people. I'll be there. Then he will change. And then the Archbishop will change his mind again. I'll call him. My chairman, the old man has put a thing the following day. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, but Papa is calling. What can I do? I have to call the people again. Hey, the Papa. Then the man will change and come in a short time. But you know the people amongst us who are passing where 2 or 3 are gathered. When Papa calls for a meeting 24 hours and I call them, you know the old man must understand that we are busy people. I say, I just called the whole Reverend Steve and he's coming, and you. Hey, you are busy over where 2 or 3 are gathered. Hey, the first time Chris and Benny he came to Ghana at that place, Papa called me some few hours and said, call Steve. Call this. They should meet at Fiesta. They will go to the meeting. When I got there, you were there. Bishop Dag was there. This guy was there. I called my wife. I said, my dear, these guys, their humility. Because these are men at the gates of the cities of this city, country. And yet when the Archbishop calls them, they leave everything. You see the time the Archbishop made me call them, they have all arrived. I said, no wonder God is blessing all these men. And you are a freelance pastor. Freelance. Where do you go to church? Oh, I visit. I run a fellowship and I visit churches. You are a street boy. You are sowing your seed on the street. It will be trampled upon. The fig tree that didn't bear fruit in the morning was planted by the roadside. And Jesus cursed it. Because you can't do ministry on the street. You must have a home. You must have a father. And you must have a home. You must have a home. Somebody must be able to correct you and call you to order. Are you here? You see, I was raised by, my father was a minister in the Methodist church and a teacher and a crapping old man, all put together. He was a very straight man. I have noticed that people that were raised very well at home, when they come to church, it's very easy for them to submit. But people whose fathers themselves were tramps and vagabonds and didn't stay at home to raise them, when they come to church, they submit to a father. Hey, no! You can't be planting on the street and expect your seed to grow and bear fruit. It doesn't happen. Even the president of Ghana, do you know the father of the president of Ghana? The constitution of Ghana. You see, where you have absolute freedom and nobody can correct you, you are finished. Now, if I offend my wife today and my wife has nobody to go and complain to who can correct me, I'm finished. There must be somebody that if my wife says I will tell, I should panic. Are you here? If I say, go and say it, who can control me? Who can say something? I am finished. Are you here? The issue of I don't fear anybody. You are a dead man. I don't fear anybody. You are a dead man. You are not even dead. You are dead. My chairman. Hey. Hey. I will email his cry to you. Hey. Hey. The second place, can you move? Is the rocky ground. Rocky grounds. Two things. Anytime you see that your seed is not having access to the ground, it means that the skies above your head is closed. Because the land where it rains is fertile. Are you here with me? You understand? That is why consistently you need to open the heavens over you. Are you here? The other reason why the grounds will be hard is because your ministry is not accepted there. It can be so hard you can't penetrate. I know people who were in one community, one city. They sat less than 300 people in 10 years. Then they changed the city. And in 1 year, they did what they couldn't do in 10 years. That is why you see, you must be spiritual and you must be sensitive. When I wanted to leave my spiritual father's church, that's why consistently I have a relationship with everybody I work for. I went to him. I was a charismatic guy and the church was a Pentecostal church. I went to him and said, Papa, I will be bigger. I'll be a bigger son for you outside this environment than inside here. So are you sure? I said, I promise you, you'll be proud of me. Just release me, let me go. He said, why? I said, Papa, the things I preach and teach is not acceptable here. I've done my best. People know I've done my best. You know what I'm teaching? So sometimes when you are sowing your seeds, that's why you need to speak to the right men. You need to have fathers over you. Are you here? You speak the right men. Some of you have been at the place. You have done things, nothing is happening. You have changed your signboard. First, you didn't have a picture. He said that's the reason why they didn't come. Now you put your picture. They didn't come. He said it was too small. So you enlarged it and went to a studio and you did like this. Still. And then you said, okay, maybe because my wife is not part of me. You and your wife went to a studio, you took a picture, you put it there. Still. You called your wife and said, no, your hair was too plenty. Let's go and do another one. You put it there. Still. You need a father. You need to walk somewhere. And listen. That's why I love fathers. You can go to them. And that, let me, Charles, just move on. Let me just conclude on this one. Let me show you something. The next one, among tongues. You see? This is an unplowed land. Unplowed area. You must break the fallow grounds. This place is when you are taken to a place among tongues. You need apostolic visitation of a father. I'm telling you. You need an apostolic visitation of a father. Papa, the land I have gone, the area I am is an unplowed land. You see, the reason why I appreciate the fathers, when Reverend Steve, the Archbishop, and the rest started ministry, Ghana was an unplowed land. Where was a charismatic church? These men have labored. They are broken the fallow ground. And now we are planting in it and we can't appreciate them. There are plenty churches on the Sprinters Road. And almost every church on the Sprinters Road is doing well. Because our bishop went there first. And broke the place. The Sprinters Road was a place where people were killed. Rough. You couldn't go there. Went in there. He's opened the heavens. Blocking the grounds. Say, Titi. You see? Do you know how many churches are on the Sprinters Road? I said, a lot. Then he will mention the figure. You see, all these people are here because I came here. I said, Papa, you broke the grounds. You see where his church is located? No airplane can land in Ghana without passing over the church. For he has to grant you permission to land. And the permission to take off. Hey! All these men. Today we can have churches in Ghana with ease. You think without these fathers, when government was deciding to tax us like they would have withdrawn, they would have taxed us. But when they see these guys, they say, hey, Charlie, because the work these guys pioneered there, it can determine who will become president in this Ghana, in this country. But this man came from nowhere. Came from nowhere. Most of them without first degrees. Came from nowhere. Cleared the land of all the tongues. Today you can just get up and say, God has called me. Then you find some signboard, put somewhere, name your church, and people are coming. And yet, you don't acknowledge the toils of the fathers. We will continue the rest tomorrow. So the fourth one is the good soil. Tomorrow we'll look at the good soil and how you can bear fruit here. And then we'll link it to the harvest and how you can create a harvest. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord cause his face to shine upon you. May you succeed in your seed time. May you never miss your season. In the name of Jesus. Any season you have missed, we pray for the restoration of time. May the Lord restore the wasted years for you. May the Lord restore the wasted years. Lift up your voice and pray. Lift up your voice and pray. Rababa Silibikaya Maya.